Amendment number 211, printed in the Congressional Record, offered by Ms. Wasserman Schultz of Florida.
The gentlelady is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise to ask for my colleagues' support of an amendment to protect our most vulnerable constituents, our children. This bipartisan amendment is a simple one. It says that child victims of sexual predators should not be forced to fight for funding scraps if deep cuts to the Department of Justice occur. This amendment fences off $30 million within the Department of Justice's Justice Assistance account for child exploitation, prevention, and interdiction. It ensures that even in this time of painful budget cuts, that we will protect the most precious and most vulnerable among us. Over the last decade, child pornography trafficking has exploded into a multi-billion-dollar global industry. The majority of both demand and supply is based in the United States, and sadly, most often involves parents or adults that the victim knows and trusts. Tragically, the demand for images of young children being sexually exploited, raped, even tortured, can only be supplied through the continued sexual abuse of more children. Literally, every image of child pornography is a crime scene photo. Several years ago, law enforcement informed Congress that it could identify hundreds of thousands of individuals perpetrating child exploitation offenses online, but admitted it was investigating fewer than 2% of these known individuals due to a lack of resources that left them outnumbered and overwhelmed. The vast majority of these identifiable sexual predators remained at large, and their young victims beyond rescue. Congress and the President responded by passing and signing into law the Protect Our Children Act, which provides desperately needed resources for the vital Internet Crimes Against Children task forces. These task forces are teams of local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies and prosecutors that lift the digital fingerprints, rescue the children, and hold perpetrators accountable. The ICAC task forces rescue child victims in real time. Victims like Elisa Kosakavich, who was sexually assaulted at age 13 by a man who befriended her online and abducted her from her Pittsburgh home. She was rescued by the FBI and the Virginia ICAC task force. Now is not the time to pull the funding rug out from under these ICAC task forces. Congress is already funding this effort at only half of the authorization, yet the law is making a difference. The Department of Justice recently released its national strategy to combat child exploitation, but it is only first getting up and running. Now is not the time to impose draconian funding cuts on the Department of Justice that could thwart this progress. I want to thank Congressman Schuler, Congressman Lamar Smith, Congressman Dan Lundgren for supporting me in this bipartisan effort. This important amendment will give state, local, and federal law enforcement the resources they need to protect our most vulnerable. Thank you. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlelady yields back. Gentleman from New Jersey.
Mr. Chairman, we're pleased to accept the amendment.
Gentleman accepts the amendment.
Thank you very much.
The question is on the amendment offered by the gentlewoman from Florida. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to.